Hello, this is Dr. Kimani, licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to the double messages of being the strong Black woman. And I'm speaking to Black women in toxic jobs. So, this is for Black women who are starting to recognize that their toxic job is harming them on some level. So, these videos are for you. So, when I talk about the double message, all of us know about the stereotype about as Black women, we are so strong and we are so resilient. And I wanted to speak about this today because I saw a recent article in Essence, and it talked about nearly 40% of Black women have quit jobs because they did not feel emotionally safe. So I wanted to talk about that because the double message is that because Black women are so strong, that they can withstand anything. So no matter what you present to them, you can give them the hardest task, you can treat them any kind of way, and that they'll just be able to persevere. Now, the reality is that many of us are able to persevere and we function at a very high level. So that's the thing that people think that they can get away with it. But when I talk about this and when other people talk about it in the article, in essence, is that what happens is that people start feeling like that they are dehumanized, so that people can just do whatever they want to them because they are the strong Black woman. And I invite us to think about if this is the case in your toxic job, where you may have heard. Because I know I used to hear this too, and I was like, how do I respond to that? How they would say, "You are so strong, you are so brave, you are so resilient." Okay, so what does that translate into advocating for me or standing with me? Okay, so when we think about as Black women, if you speak out about something that's wrong in the workplace, people might praise you behind the scenes or after something's done, but they won't stand with you. But the core issue that I'm talking about is that when you are in a toxic work environment and people might view you as the strong Black woman, they don't really see you as a person. They feel like they can just do whatever they want to you with no real consequence. So that's the double message. So the double message is, yeah, you're strong. We love that she's a strong Black woman. We love that. But I want us to think about, are you being treated now as a workhorse because you are seen as a strong Black woman? Are you seen as, or do people feel that they have the right to talk to you in a disrespectful way because you are the strong Black woman and you are resourceful and resilient? Do they kind of rely on you to be the one to speak out? I know that happens to me a lot. So people, something would happen, they would kind of look at me like, is she gonna say something? I hope she says, I know she's gonna say something. Are they relying on you because you are so strong and so resilient and so resourceful? All of that takes a toll on us. So being in these types of positions where you're seen as a strong Black woman and you are taking in all of the negative treatment that people are projecting onto you, that can harm you physically and psychologically. And that's something that was talked about in the article as well. So while you may be seen as a strong Black woman, we have to think about at what cost? At what cost is this to you? So it's one thing if people value you in terms of, wow, she's really intelligent and we love the professionalism she brings to the workplace and all these other things. If they value that and they value as, someone who deserves respect in the workplace, but unfortunately, many times that's not our experience. We experience something very different. So we may experience like the almost like the mammy stereotype too. Like she's nurturing and she's going to take care of all of us and she's going to fix this problem. There was also an article that I saw on LinkedIn a while back, and it talked about the glass cliff and how Black women are brought into situations that are extremely difficult. In many ways, they're kind of brought into an environment where more than likely they're going to fail because the situation is so bad by the time they get there that there's a high likelihood that they will fail, not only because of the conditions that they were brought into, but many times people are not fully supporting them as well. So when you're brought in based upon you're a strong Black woman, what does that look like? And what is the cost of you being brought in for that? Now, if you are being brought in that situation, and even it might be a pet to threat situation. So I know many of us have experienced that. And I always have to give credit to the three Black women who came up with the term and did the research because unfortunately, as Black women, people steal our work. People don't give us credit for our work. So I am going to say their names to give them credit. And I invite you to really look up their work. So the three Black women who came up with the term and research for pets a threat is Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, and Dr. Rosemary Phelps. So if you are not familiar with Pets a Threat deals with when a Black woman is brought into a workplace because she has talents in certain areas or they really need her. We just love how smart she is. Oh my God, we're so happy to have you here. So she is treated as the pet because they're seeking her out almost like a saver. Like she's gonna come save this environment. She's gonna do all these magical things. And we do it. We come in there, we do outstanding work. And on some level, it's some praise, but then when the work outshines the work of other people, particularly the work of those in so-called leadership positions, when that happens, there's a shift in terms of how you may be seen and treated as the threat. And when you are the threat, then there's an attempt to push you out or demean you or put you in your place. And I know what that feels like. You may know what that feels like too. So if you're in a situation and you're not feeling, as the Essence magazine talked about, emotionally safe, I would say many Black women, as we come into the workplace, we don't really necessarily feel emotionally safe because we've been taught, that we have to look out for people. We've been taught that we can't, sleep, in terms of not recognizing signs. We've been told that. We've been told that we have to work extremely hard because one mistake, they're waiting for you and they're going to get you. So we've been taught that. So it's not that we come into work environments generally overly trusting and having this naive perception of what the workplace is going to be like, and most of us do not come into a workplace like that. We already know what we're walking into. However, we may think we know, but we don't know the full picture because the full picture is probably like a disaster nightmare that you cannot even envision coming into the workplace. Because again, you don't know the people's connections with one another. You don't know, like, all these behind the scenes, just nasty stuff going on. And I'm saying nasty in the sense of, catty, petty, gossipy, character assassinations, but I'm also talking nasty in the sense of people can be in inappropriate relations with one another, and you would never know. You would never know. And so you may think, okay, I'm coming into this environment. I'm aware. I have my psychological armor on. Okay, let's do this. Okay, you got the qualifications. However, you don't know the full story. You don't know the full story of what you're walking into. And so when that happens, when you start noticing something's not right, you feel that in your stomach, you feel like something's not right here. I pay attention to that. Please pay attention to that because that is telling you that this environment is not only toxic, it is harmful for you. So when that Essence article talked about emotional safety, and there's also a lot of research talking about psychological safety in the workplace, I would say for Black women, there's a level of, there may be some psychological safety, but I don't know. I don't know. I have not met, I don't think, a Black woman yet who works for someone else and says that she feels complete psychological safety in the workplace. I have not met anyone yet. And that was part of the reason why I started my own business. So a lot of Black women are starting their own businesses, or we're doing our own thing because there's little psychological safety and we've been harmed in the workplace. So I wanted to talk about this not only from the perspective of those of us who are impacted by this in terms of directly impacted by being in environments where we do not feel psychological and or emotional safety, but also for employers. So employers, if you're watching this, because we know about LinkedIn trolls, so if you're watching this right now, I really encourage you to think about what is the impact? What is the value added to your organization by having a workplace culture that does not support psychological safety, that does not support emotional safety? What is the cost benefit to that? I can imagine there's any cost benefit. I can imagine there's huge losses because you recruit people, you train people. That costs a lot of money to train people, onboard people, all that stuff that costs a lot of money. And if you are creating or supporting an environment where people do not feel psychological safety, they do not feel emotional safety, they will, there's a number of things. One, they will start becoming sick. And so then they will be calling out. And again, you're losing money from that. They might just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to give you the bare minimum. So you're losing money with that too. They may end up leaving. You are losing money with that. And guess what else they might do? They may talk about their experiences in a toxic workplace. And S. Emery Archer talks about this, the anti-HR lady. She talks about this. She actually advises Black women to post about your job experiences on, different platforms like Glassdoor, things like that, so that other job seekers will be warned about the organization. So she says that, and she also advises as you are looking for another job, check out these sites, check out what people are saying about their experiences of working in that environment. Because what we don't want to happen is that you leave one job and go to another job that's just as toxic or even more toxic. We don't want that for you. So, again, to employers, pay attention to all this. There's no benefit, there's no cost to your organization by creating a toxic work environment. It harms your organization. When you look at the bottom line, you are going to lose a lot of money. So for us on the other side, I'm not talking to the employers now. For us, I invite us to think about if this is a situation where you feel the sense that you are being attacked, that you are being micromanaged, you are feeling that sense of dread about your job, I invite you to connect to yourself and see, okay, is this my experience? Is this due to certain things happening at the job? You may need to reality test with somebody who's not inside the job, who's more objective to help you or to validate what your experiences are. Because, sometimes we get in this self gaslighting thing. Marissa Price talks about it. I talked about it with Marissa Price on my YouTube channel, actually, about the self gaslighting, because the job is gaslighting you already, but then you might start internalizing that and self gaslighting. So to all of us, I remember someone said too, as Black women, can we take the S off our chest? Can we stop saying that we are the superwoman? Now we can do it, but it comes at a cost. We should not have to be all things to all people all the time. What about us? And what about taking care of ourselves as well? And taking care of ourselves includes taking ourselves away from situations that contribute to our harm. Toxicity is a poison, it will harm you. So let us be mindful of that. So as I'm winding down, I'm asking you to please give this video a thumbs up. It tells YouTube to suggest this video to other Black women who might be in similar situations. And if you are experiencing any of the things I'm talking about in this video, and you might say, you know what, maybe I can watch these videos to help prepare me to eventually leave the toxic job. So it might be a series of videos that you're watching, my videos or Colette Elizabeth, Marissa Price. You might be watching these videos to help prepare you in terms of maybe even reality testing as you hear what we're saying. It also might be an opportunity for you to start being honest with yourself about how you're really feeling and building up the courage to eventually leave. and walk through the fear that will be there. The fear will be there. Don't say the fear is a sign not to leave. That is not true, okay? But there's different ways to walk through the fear. So resources are available to you to help you walk through the fear. I have that in the description section of this video. And as a toxic job survivor, I know it's fearful, but I also know that you can make it through. And I also know that it's bigger and better things for you outside of that toxic job. And the healing really starts once you leave the toxic job. So as I'm signing off, again, give this video a thumbs up so that other Black women can access this video, because so many of us have had experiences in a toxic job, and unfortunately more than one. Also, I want to say that my videos and my channel name, my business name is Lifting as We Climb Consulting Wellness Services. So as I am healing as a toxic job survivor, I'm reaching for as many Black women as I can. So I hope you come with me as we are ushering in a movement to help support Black women leaving and healing from toxic jobs. So help yourself first, and then reach out and help other Black women by sharing this video with her or other Black women, so more than one woman, and also subscribe to my channel. So my channel again is Lifting as We Climb Consulting Wellness Services. So yes, I know that we are strong, but that does not give anyone an excuse to treat us in the way that they do because we are strong and we should be able to withstand it. No, we are strong many times because of necessity, and we can be strong in certain areas, but we don't always have to be that way. And that doesn't justify people treating us like that, because we get hurt too. We get hurt, and it's okay to acknowledge when you've been harmed. Now, you don't want to say that in the workplace because they may be trying to harm you, but find safe places where you are able to acknowledge that you have been harmed and get the support that you need. Again, resources are available to you. I share some resources, other people have resources, but again, those resources are for you in the description section of this video. And please share resources with other Black women as well as share this video. Okay, take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye.